just now to make it clear that what kind of a knowledge we are seeking in Eastern wisdom and what kind of a student one should be to grasp and receive the knowledge clearly without any, so that we can progress. So what happens in modern education? In modern education, or any physical science, we need a teacher. So the role of the teacher is to strengthen the memory bank, information gathering system, so that he can go into the world and earn the wealth and lead a life of the pleasure, whereas the pleasure is not there in the world. So in Eastern wisdom, we need a guru. So the word guru means ignorance to knowledge. We don't want an information gathering system. We don't want a memory bank. We need to understand these principles clearly, and so that we can apply them in our daily life. So one master used to say that in Eastern wisdom we need an attitude, and in learning other knowledges, becoming an expert in the world and using that knowledge, we need an aptitude. So there is an aptitude test. If you want to take admission in Ivory colleges, Harvard University, so they want to check your aptitude. Here we check silently what exactly is your attitude. Aptitude simply means that you can easily grasp, memorize, repeat, and reproduce. That is the final examination. But attitude means a mental state. Mental state. And that mental state means the purity of the mind. The purity of the mind is mandatory in Eastern wisdom, not in front of the teacher, but in our daily life and living. If that is not there, you may find out that it is not helping you to progress. It helps you to progress every time we attend the session, you feel very good, but after that, because the attitudinal change is not there. Now, you go to any college, you learn, memorize, remember, multiply, reproduce is an examination, you get a certificate. Here, reproduction is not important. Here, the realization, learning from your experiences is important. That defines the attitude of the mind. So if I am humble before the teacher, I am humble throughout my life. So you have some problem, say for example with the honey, you are humble before the teacher, now you pass on that humility even before your honey. So then there comes an attitudinal change. Now you know how to endure. You know how to be humble even if the honey is reactive, for example. So what is happening? Because you remain humble in front of the people who are reactive, you endure. So endurance is not an aptitude test. Endurance, and gradually what you learn, whatever he or she says, it doesn't affect me. You learn that outer situation is not dictating your mind. That is one very subtle aspect of the purity of the mind. You join the Eastern wisdom for the highest journey, highest purpose of the life. It demands a tremendous attitude. Attitude can be negative. Oh, yeah, he's showing the attitude. I'm not talking about that attitude. I'm just talking about that opposite attitude, a mental state of humility, of surrender, of receptivity. So now when I use the word surrender, what it means, it is a recognition that I know I don't know myself. I don't want to be agitated, but still I get agitated. I don't want to be upset with my near and dear ones, but still I get upset. I have to change that attitude. If I don't change that attitude, you may be learning for years together. The mind is not going to become pure. Only the purity of the mind helps you to awaken to the real self. Modern education system strengthens your ego. I did masters from Harvard University. And Eastern wisdom kills your ego. That is the difference between the teaching and the teacher in Eastern wisdom and modern science. Are we ready to kill our ego? If we are ready, then it is known as the humility. It is known as the surrender. I will listen to the teacher, I will contemplate and reflect, and then I will see how I can change my attitude. And I can bet you, promise you, the moment you start changing your attitude from the day one consciously, you'll find you are relaxed, calmer. You are not easily tired. That is the difference between ego causes the tremendous tiredness. It causes the mind to continue to wander, to continue to react and compete. Here we learn how to cooperate, how to harmonize the outer situation, conditions, people, and relationship. We don't blame anyone. We say that in what way I should be able to maintain my inner calmness. That is attitude. In modern education system, you may be a wonderful doctor. At the same time, you may be a criminal. Crime comes from an attitude. An example, not any profession. I am a great economist. I am a hedge fund financier or contributor. I may be doing this scam. So that scam is a mental attitude. Here this will not work. Do whatever you want to do. You do kundalini meditation, you do 5 hours of meditation, 5 years and 10 years and 20 years, nothing is going to happen. In every session we may find some relaxation and calmness, but fundamental change will not take place until we have that attitude. Attitude means a mental state. So what happens when you continue the journey in that mental state? First time you recognize I'm using this I is ego, and ego is equal to body, breath, mind, intellect, all the thoughts, our craving and the pleasure plus I thought. First time we recognize that there are two I. One is the false I, second is the real I. Real I, you are always happy. False I am stressed today, I am relaxed tomorrow. Day before yesterday I was upset with the honey, but later on I realized it was my mistake, so I said sorry to repeat the same thing again. How many times we said sorry? How many times we thought we realized our mistake? We are repeating the same thing again and again. So that is not calling for an attitude. That comes from the false side. I'm just talking so that you all are mature and wise. You need to think over this. Think, 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 contemplate, reflect. When you listen, that's why I send the audio files. We are not scared that I have given you this practice and this will be taken away by someone. Everything I put it on a public domain. Why? There is no reason to hide. There is nothing is secret. So what about those people who go to my YouTube channel and they listen to it? They may get something, or they may like it, or they may not like it. But that is not the journey of Eastern wisdom is undertaken. So I know that nobody can steal my knowledge. That is not the case in modern education system. No, I have a secret. I will only tell you if you pay me $10,000 how to succeed in the world. And even then we are not humble. We are not sincere. We do not surrender. So you can say it's a little bit very complex in a say. It's a very subtle knowledge. Subtle knowledge can only be grasped by the mind which has an attitude. We don't need an aptitude. A guru taught a student for 20 years. First couple of years, that student was a student. Later on, he became a disciple. Disciple means that you pay more attention. You try to intellectually understand. 10 years passed. Then he started getting some result. 20 years passed. So Guru realizes that something is missing even after teaching for 20 years. So he said, go back to your home and now summarize all the teachings, write it and bring it before me. So after a year he brought 500 pages, whatever the master had taught for 20 years. So Guru looked at it. He said, I have looked at it. Go back and summarize it again. Second time. So he again spent a year and he contemplated and reflected. Now while doing the contemplation and reflection, he recognized that 500 pages are a waste. So he brought it again after the next year. It was 200 pages. Master said, I'm happy with it, but I want you to reflect again. Go back. Come after 1 year. He summarized it into 100 pages. Master said, it's okay, but I need a summary. Now he is contemplating more and more. So because of the purity of the mind and the contemplation, reflection and practice, he realized again something relevant. He brought back, and here are the 10 pages now. This is the summary of your teaching. So now you see that from 500 pages he reduced it to 10 pages. How much he was focused. He could realize that. Master said, oh, go back again. I'm happy, but I want you to write a summary. And the seeker realized. That was, seeker did not get upset. Even the master returned him 5 or 6 times, and he spent the whole year before he could write the summary and return back. Now is the last time he came to the master. Says, "Hey, did you bring the summary?" "Yes, master." He recognized in the last that what exactly the master wanted from him, and which took him almost 5 years. What was the summary? It is an intuitive teaching. Eastern wisdom is an intuitive teaching. So the seeker presented the paper, and that paper was blank. That was what the master was pointing out. Summarize all my teachings. It was an emptiness of the mind. The master touched his forehead and he got awakened. That's a huge difference between the modern teaching and the teaching of the Eastern wisdom. This is what exactly from the very first day you said emptiness, and now this is the summary. That is the teaching of, that is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. So Eastern wisdom does not strengthen our information gathering system. It does not make your memory bank very strong, and you multiply the same information, you create something new, and you say, here is my secret. I will only teach you, give you the secret if you pay me $10,000. We have a royal secret, and our secret is always open. So understand this meaning. It is a royal secret, and it is still an open secret. So it is a royal secret. It is the subtlest of the knowledge. It is a realization of the real self. It is understanding and realization of the permanent peace and happiness in our life. That is why it is a royal secret. But how come a secret can be open? Only a seeker can open this secret. A non-seeker can read the books and can study. Nothing is going to happen. But that too with a teacher. Many people write to me which book I should study. I should study this book. I have understood it. Yes, sir, you have understood it. So now, do you have a stress? Yes, I think you have not studied. Simple. You live in conflict and confusion. You have not studied. No, I have studied. I understand it. What is that understanding? Understanding is a realization. That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. So you see, look at the student who is seeker, who returned to the master 6 times. He was not impatient. He did not blame the teacher. He did not react. That is what the humility is. That is what, receptivity is. My master is asking me to do something, that I am missing. I am missing. What I am missing? He has given me a time for 1 year. You look at the modern students, they will say, get lost, I will find another teacher. That is not the journey of the Eastern wisdom. That's why I refer that I spent 26 years with my master. Every step. So in a monastery, what happens when you are learning in a monastery under the teacher, tutelage of the teacher is watching you 24/7. Teacher is looking for your attitude, not looking for aptitude. with what attitude you eat, with what attitude you talk, with what attitude you communicate, with what attitude you talk to your fellow seekers, with at what time you wake up in the morning. Your whole life is organized under the tutelage. That is why the monasteries were created. The monasteries were known as Gurukul. Gurukul. Guru means guru, you already know it. Kul. Kul is the ashram, the monastery, where only one thing is at the supreme level, is the education of the real self. I've given you a lot of thoughts to contemplate and reflect upon: the attitude and the aptitude, a tremendous patience, a sense of humility. Means humility, or the surrender, means a recognition. A recognition. You recognize. What do you recognize? I know that I don't know the real self. I don't know the real I. The real I never changes. The false I always changes. How to recognize? Honey, I'm upset with you. That happened in the morning. In the evening you say, I'm sorry, honey, I love you. So there are two I now. First I said I am stressed. Second I said I love you. Third I says I am upset. Fourth I said I got agitated. Fifth I says I like, say for example, pasta. And you go on eating the pasta for 7 days, you hate pasta. So you say, now I hate pasta. So you see that I is constantly changing. You see many I's. Why the mind is wandering? Because we have millions of I's working simultaneously that we have created because of impulsive driven mind. What we are searching. So Master says the real I is unchanging. It is pure consciousness. It is all pervading. The moment you recognize, when you use the word I and that has changed, it is the false I. And that the false I is dictated by our likes and dislikes, our duality and a conflict, the pressure we accepted from the outer situation, people, and the relationship, that creates some multiple millions of I's. And these millions of I's are the impressions we need to clean, we need to purify, we need to empty, to give a place for the real I to be realized. I believe you are getting it. So those millions of I's expresses the behavior outside which is not formed by an attitude. It is formed with the strong likes and dislikes. So I have to always look inside. The way I express my behavior outside in relationship to the world, outside people and relationship. You see, I express my behavior. Behavior means action, performance, outer expression. Then I start becoming aware from what attitude in the mind this expression of the behavior is taking place. Are you understanding? Behavior, attitude inside, with a particular attitude, if it is impulsive driven, if it is driven by the likes and dislikes, our behavior means our expression of the action will not be complete. It is left incomplete. And then this false I repents or reacts. It gathers the impression. So every day we accumulate about 40,000 impressions. One master used to say, 40,000 eyes are there. Remember, we lived for 50 years. 50 years multiplied by 365 days. Calculate the number of impressions, and you want that you can drive away all the thoughts in one day? 20 years ago, you reacted to someone, that impression is also present as a false I. Don't you remember? No, I still have a stain in my heart. He insulted me 10 years ago. You remember that, I can bet you. How you feel that those number of impressions can be emptied in a day just by one practice. See that? So journey of the Eastern wisdom totally works in a different dimension. But once we follow the path with a commitment, we start experiencing the changes in our life. Those changes and those experiences you get cannot be compared with even $10 billion that you have, because those $10 billion are going to create further impressions. So I just got a thought that I should talk about this. Close your eyes. Let us start our practice. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed, and make your body comfortable. Make your body comfortable. You look at the head and the neck. Mentally, you look at the head and the neck. Feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Look at the shoulder joints. You see, attitude of the mind works here. Aptitude doesn't work here. Mental state means mental awareness. Means you are aware. The teacher giving you the instruction says, look mentally, shoulder joints, be there, feel sensation, comfort and steadiness. You know, while working in the world outside, learning, you are always in a hurry. Even if you have a lot of stress, you continue to attend the classes. In Eastern wisdom, we say, no, it will not work. Look at the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Be there, feel sensation, comfort and steadiness. Now look inside the head in the space. So we see the space, but the thought appears and reappears. They appear and they reappear. So when we are an observer, We are a seer. How? The way we see the traffic while standing across a road. Standing across a road is also part of the earth. That is what I say. The mind has three lanes. One lane, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are there. Let it be there. How do you know? How do you say let it be there? Because you are watching it. You are observing it. So what happens when you are observing? The observer is always separate from the observed. You see me, you are always separate from me. I see you, you are always separate from me as an observer. That is the open secret of lane 1 and the lane 2. The moment your mind recognizes that all these unwanted thoughts are separate from you, you jump into the lane 3. Why I said lane 3? Lane 3 is a deeper layer of the mind. And you feel calm. You are not affected by, dictated by those unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. It is such an easy way, but unless the mind clearly understands, recognizes the three lanes, means you are aware that no unwanted thought and unwelcome thought in the feeling belongs to you. Something very happens in a deeper level. All those unwanted thought belongs to the false I. So someday it happens, another day it doesn't happen. So that is why then I give a practice. I say, look inside the forehead, in the space. In the space you drop Om Shanti. Om is the real self and the Shanti means the peace. You already know it. So you are saying with a pause. Okay. Now that Om Shanti continues, body remains steady, and you start breathing quick and short breath through both the nostrils into the rib cage. You feel the rib cage expands while breathing in, and it contracts while breathing out. Continue. You are breathing into your rib cage with Om Shanti dropping inside the forehead in the space, keeping your body steady. All these works in the field of awareness to bring about a change in the impulsive, driven mind. And now stop this, recognize and accept the changes and the new experiences, and also retrieve the information in the mind, how many times the mind resisted the practice. So by regular practice, we overcome the resistance, so we have a level of endurance. Now you will find a change. Look at the head and the neck as if the mind is moving on the skin of the head and the neck. The moment you move it, it means you are aware. And the result is sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look inside the head and the neck and just be there. We may find the frequency of the thoughts incoming has reduced. That indicates a state of calmness. Look at the right arm from the shoulder to the fingertips. With awareness, you feel the skin of the right arm from the shoulder to the fingertips and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Then look inside and just be there. Move the mind on the left arm from the shoulder to the fingertips. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look inside. Now look at the rib cage and the belly, in the front and spine at the back. Experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look inside. Look inside the heart. Just be aware, feel just an awareness. A simple awareness will do because the mind is getting purified. Look at the right leg. From the right side of the waist to the toes, and experience sensation, relaxation and stillness. Look inside. Just be. When you look inside, it is nothing but the space. Look at the left leg. From the left side of the waist to the toes. Experience sensation, relaxation and stillness. Inside. Inside, you're just aware. Look at the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes. Experience sensation, comfort and steadiness. Look inside, into the space. So from that space, you are looking at the breath. The breath is going in and out. With every breath, mentally you say Om Shanti. Om Shanti means real self is expressing the peace. Breath goes in and comes out. Normally, our normal breathing pattern, we breathe about 21 breaths a minute. So it means it takes only 3 seconds. In that moment of 3 seconds, one breath going in and coming out, it is impossible for us to say Om Shanti. Why? The mind has not become subtle. Why? Because of the impurity of the mind. So no issue. Now you make your breath little deeper and you say Om Shanti. Breath also changes while breathing out and say Om Shanti. You are changing the breath. So you are accommodating Om Shanti with the length of the breath. That too is okay. And now you drop two Om Shanti with every inhalation, with every exhalation. Means what? You start breathing in and you drop Om Shanti, you give a pause, you continue to inhale and drop Om Shanti. Now exhaling, you drop Om Shanti, give a pause, and then again Om Shanti. So the breath and Om Shanti, two Om Shanti sync together with every inhalation, with every exhalation. Now return again to one Om Shanti without changing the breath. So what happens? Now the mind becomes subtler and absorbs within. 2. Change our attitude so that we rise in awareness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms. Place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. If you have any question, you can ask it. Yes, Charlie, how are you?
Hello, Girish. Good. I felt very present during the meditation, and what struck me was when you talked about accumulation versus this right word, but the awareness.
Yes.
And emptiness and accumulation. So it's hard to put into words, but it felt like when, especially when we were doing the Om Shanti, it's asking the eternal self, have that awareness of the eternal self.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that was inside with all these little thoughts around the outside, but it was just like, okay, I want to align myself to that. And I don't know if that's
Yeah.
explain myself clearly, but that's what I felt when I was meditating.
Yeah. That's a good point. At least we are able to separate this constant struggling I with one space and emptiness. The moment we find that separation, it is a sign of the progress. How are you, Meet?
I am so happy to be with the three of you, and I experienced a deep sensation of steadiness
Good.
and peace.
Yeah. So there is one steadiness which is eternal, and other steadiness comes from the body. Body cannot be made still, mind cannot be made still, false eye cannot be made still. So that sense of the steadiness comes from deeper within. Wonderful. That is all for today. We will meet again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.